Hey everyone, welcome back to the deep dive. It seems like every day there's another article about how AI is going to revolutionize, well, pretty much everything.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up, right?
Totally. And for anyone who's even thought about switching careers or maybe upskilling in their current job, the advice out there can be overwhelming.
Absolutely. There's a ton of information, but it's not always easy to find what you need.
That's exactly why I'm excited about what we're diving into today. You actually sent us some info on this, and it immediately caught our attention. It's about EON Reality's AI career mentor. They call it Brainy.
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing that. Pretty bold name, huh?
It is. And from what we've read so far, it actually might live up to the hype. We're talking about a photorealistic AI avatar that you actually interact with, like have a conversation with, not just fill out some forms.
That's a huge step away from those typical career websites. This sounds way more interactive.
Exactly. So, for you listening, today's deep dive is all about understanding how this technology works. We want to cut through the jargon, get to the core of what makes it so different, and see if it really could change the game for career guidance.
Sounds good to me. I'm really curious to dig into this too.
All right, so first things first. We got to understand why traditional career guidance platforms haven't always, well, been that great. What are the major drawbacks we've seen?
Well, think about it. You're already stressed, right? Trying to make big decisions about your future, maybe feeling a bit lost.
Yeah, not exactly a relaxed state of mind.
Right. And then, on top of that, you got to wrestle with clunky websites, figure out how to navigate some, frankly, pretty terrible interfaces.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah.
Trying to find that one piece of information buried in menus and submenus, feeling like you're wasting precious time.
Exactly. And that leads to another big problem, a lack of actual human connection. Career changes, they're emotional. You need support, empathy, not just some cold, impersonal forms.
It's like getting advice from a robot.
Yeah.
Right? No warmth, no understanding of what you're actually going through.
And the personalization is often superficial. You fill out a profile, but does that really capture your personality, your fears, your aspirations? I doubt it.
Yeah, those things are complex. They don't fit neatly into checkboxes. The source material actually points out that people end up using only a tiny fraction of the features offered by these platforms.
That makes sense. If it's hard to find stuff, you probably just give up and stick to the basics.
Right. It's like having a high-tech Swiss Army knife, but you only ever use the bottle opener.
Perfect analogy. And all of this creates a very fragmented experience. One day you're doing a skills assessment, the next you're browsing job boards. It doesn't feel like a cohesive journey with a guide you can trust.
Exactly. And this is where Dan Lajerskar, EON Reality's chairman, makes a really interesting point. He basically says that the traditional interface itself becomes the obstacle, that it prevents that truly personalized, emotionally supportive experience that people actually need.
Makes sense. If the tech is getting in the way, it's not really helping, is it?
Nope. So enter Brainy. This is EON Reality's answer to these limitations.
Right.
It's not just a tweaked version of what's out there. It's a completely different approach.
Okay. I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
Well, at the heart of their next-gen EON Career Compass is this AI mentor, Brainy. Instead of menus and forms, you talk to it, like actually have a conversation, like you would with a real career counselor.
Wow. That's a big shift.
It is. And it's all made possible by some pretty cutting-edge technology. First up, we have photorealistic video generation.
Okay, so we're not talking about text on a screen, right?
Right. It's about interacting with a virtual representation of a person. Brainy uses real-time video synthesis, so it has lifelike facial expressions, body language, all those nonverbal cues that are crucial for communication.
So it actually looks like a person, not some creepy, stiff CGI character.
Yeah, the source material emphasizes how much effort they put into making it look and move naturally, avoiding that uncanny valley effect.
That's smart. If it's going to be your mentor, you need to feel comfortable interacting with it.
Exactly. And it's not just about looks, it's about connection. Those visual cues add a layer of empathy and trust that just doesn't exist with text alone.
I can see that. It feels more human.
Right. Now, this next part is crucial. The comprehensive memory architecture. Brainy remembers every single interaction you have with it. Not just general data, but the specifics of your conversations, your hopes, your fears, everything.
Hold on, everything. That's a lot of data.
It is. And they've structured the memory in a really sophisticated way. It categorizes information by specific conversations, by knowledge about you and the job market, even by emotional significance. This means Brainy can reference things you talked about weeks ago if they're relevant to your current situation.
So it's like having a career coach with a perfect memory who never forgets a single detail you've shared.
Precisely. And even more impressive, the memory system consolidates and analyzes this information over time. This means Brainy can actually identify patterns, understand your evolving needs, and offer insights that go way beyond what a human could do.
That's pretty amazing. It's like having an AI that truly knows you inside and out.
Now, how about this? Emotional intelligence. They've actually built an AI that can recognize and respond to your emotions.
Really? How does that even work?
Brainy uses what they call multimodal emotion recognition. It analyzes your text, your voice, even your facial expressions if you choose to share video.
So it's not just reading what I say, it's understanding how I say it.
Exactly. And based on that, it adapts its responses. It can offer empathy, use evidence-based psychological techniques to help you deal with stress, and even try to boost your motivation when you're feeling down.
So it's kind of like a therapist and a career counselor rolled into one.
Yeah, I know, it sounds crazy, but that's what they're claiming. They're basically trying to replicate the emotional support you'd get from a human mentor, combined with the vast knowledge and analytical power of AI.
Okay, I'm starting to see why they called it Brainy. This is next level stuff.
And then there's the XR integration. XR stands for extended reality, so that includes things like virtual reality and augmented reality.
Yeah, I'm familiar with XR. It's been getting a lot of buzz lately.
Well, Brainy actually integrates XR into the learning process. So let's say you're discussing a skill you need to develop. Brainy might suggest an immersive XR simulation where you can practice that skill in a safe virtual environment.
So instead of just reading about it, you can actually experience it.
Exactly. And it's all seamlessly integrated. Brainy guides you into the XR experience, tailors the content based on your previous conversations, and even debriefs with you afterwards to help you process what you learned.
It's like having a personalized, interactive learning journey, all guided by this AI mentor.
And Marcin Kasica, EON Reality's Global Director of Education and Training, talks about this as human-AI symbiosis. He's saying that the AI brings perfect memory and data processing, while the human contributes emotional intelligence and the ability to build relationships.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's about leveraging the strengths of both to create something truly new and powerful.
Okay, so we've talked about why they built it and what makes it different. Now let's get down to brass tacks. How does this translate into a better experience for the user?
Right. Does it actually deliver?
Well, the source material provides some pretty compelling evidence. They've got a whole section comparing key features and benefits. Let's start with the user interface. Remember those clunky menus and endless forms we talked about?
Oh yeah, not my favorite.
Well, with Brainy, it's all gone. It's just you and the AI having a natural conversation.
That sounds way more user-friendly.
And the numbers back it up. They're claiming a 53% reduction in task completion time, a 78% increase in session duration, and a 94% task completion rate.
Wow, those are huge improvements.
It really shows how much more efficient and engaging it is to interact with information naturally, through conversation. And speaking of efficiency, let's talk about the learning curve. Remember how we mentioned the cognitive overload of traditional platforms?
Yeah, having to learn a new system while you're already stressed is not ideal.
Well, with Brainy, they're aiming for zero learning curve. You don't need tutorials or manuals. You just start talking.
That's great for accessibility, too. Anyone can use it, regardless of their tech skills.
Absolutely. And personalization. Remember how we said those profiles never really capture the nuances of your personality?
Right, it felt very surface level.
Well, Brainy ditches the static profile and builds an understanding of you through conversation. It picks up on your communication style, your needs, your anxieties, all those subtle things that forms can't capture.
So it's adapting to you in real time, learning who you are as you interact with it.
Precisely. And the emotional support, we talked about how important that is. Brainy doesn't just give you generic advice. It actually tries to understand and respond to your emotional state.
So it's actually providing emotional support like a human mentor would.
That's the goal. And the initial results are pretty encouraging. They're reporting a 37% reduction in anxiety, a 41% increase in confidence, and an 81% increase in willingness to discuss concerns.
Those are some pretty impressive numbers. It really suggests that people feel more comfortable opening up and sharing their struggles with Brainy.
And remember that amazing memory we talked about? Well, that's a game changer for continuity. It means Brainy can reference past conversations, connect the dots, and really build a sense of trust over time.
Yeah, it feels like a genuine relationship, not just a series of disconnected interactions.
Exactly. And finally, learning. No more hunting through websites for relevant resources. Brainy integrates learning directly into the conversation. Need to learn a new skill? Brainy can suggest courses, offer personalized advice, and even guide you through immersive XR simulations.
That's so much more efficient.
It is. And they're seeing a 35% increase in information retention, a 55% higher learning path completion rate, and a 32% faster time to achieve skill competency.
Those are some serious gains.
Okay, so all of this sounds incredible, right? But how does it actually work under the hood? What's the tech that makes this all possible?
Yeah, let's get into the nitty-gritty.
All right, so first up, we have the real-time video synthesis engine. This is what creates that photorealistic video of Brainy. It's powered by diffusion-based neural networks, which is a type of AI that's really good at generating images and video from text descriptions.
So it's not just playing pre-recorded animations, it's actually creating the video on the fly based on the conversation.
Exactly. And they've also incorporated algorithms for multi-frame consistency, which means the video looks smooth and natural, no weird jumps or glitches.
That attention to detail is important, especially when you're trying to create a believable, human-like avatar.
Absolutely. And for those really nuanced facial expressions, they're using something called the Facial Action Coding System, or FACS. This is a system that maps specific muscle movements in the face to different emotions.
So it's about capturing the subtleties of human expression.
Right. And all of this is processed with super low latency, so there's no lag in the conversation. It feels natural and responsive.
Okay, so the visuals are impressive, but what about the brains behind it all? How does Brainy actually understand and respond to language?
That's where the advanced large language model comes in. They're using Gemini 2.5, which is a state-of-the-art language model that's been specifically trained on a massive data set of career-related information.
So it's not just a general-purpose chatbot. It has deep knowledge about career, skills, job markets, all that stuff.
Exactly. And it has a ridiculously large context window, meaning it can remember a huge amount of information from your previous conversations. Like, think of it as being able to remember the entire text of a novel within a single conversation.
Wow, that's a lot of context.
It is. And it's all designed to ensure that the conversation flows naturally, even over extended periods. Brainy can reference things you talked about earlier, connect the dots, and build on previous insights.
It's like having a conversation with someone who actually listens and remembers what you said.
And then there's the Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RG. This is the system that allows Brainy to access and utilize all that stored information. They've built a multi-tier memory architecture that combines different types of databases and knowledge graphs.
So it's not just storing information, it's organizing it in a way that makes it easy to find and use.
Exactly. And the RAG system uses really sophisticated algorithms to pull up the most relevant information based on your current needs. It can even expand its search queries and navigate through your conversation history to make sure it's giving you the most helpful and personalized advice.
It's like having a superpowered research assistant at your fingertips.
And Jan Kellstrom, EON Reality's EVP of Product Development, talks about how this creates the feeling of talking to someone who truly knows you. It's that personalization and continuity that makes it so powerful.
It sounds like they've really thought this through, from the big picture down to the technical details.
They have. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the tech, but how is this actually being used in the real world? The source material gives us a few examples.
Yeah, let's see some real-world results.
One of the most impressive is a global insurance company that used Brainy to help guide their workforce through a major digital transformation. They get over 25,000 employees, and their goal was to minimize job displacement and make sure everyone had the skills they needed for the future.
That's a huge undertaking.
It was. So they implemented EON Career Compass with Brainy. Brainy had personalized conversations with each employee, assessed their skills, provided training recommendations, and offered ongoing support throughout the transition.
So it wasn't just about learning new tech skills, it was about helping people navigate the emotional and psychological challenges of a major career shift.
Exactly. And the results were phenomenal. They managed to successfully transition 78% of their employees into new roles within the company, reduce training time by 54%, and achieve sky-high satisfaction and completion rates.
That's amazing. It shows that this approach can work, even at a massive scale.
Another great example is a technical university that integrated Brainy into their engineering program. It's not just a one-time thing, it's a 4-year companion that supports students throughout their entire academic journey.
Wow, that's a long-term commitment.
It is, and the impact has been huge. Graduates are getting higher starting salaries, more of them are landing jobs in high-growth fields, student satisfaction is through the roof, and the university's career services staff have seen a significant reduction in their workload.
It's a win-win for everyone involved.
Dale Lajerskar's final thought on this is all about democratizing elite-level career guidance. He's basically saying that with Brainy, they're trying to make top-notch, personalized support available to everyone, regardless of their background or location.
Yeah, that's a powerful vision.
It is. And finally, just a quick word on deployment. They offer a few different options: cloud-hosted, on-premises, even a hybrid model. Mats Johansson, EON Reality's president, makes the point that they're trying to make this technology accessible to organizations of all sizes and technical capabilities.
So whether you're a small business or a multinational corporation, there's a way to implement this.
Exactly. So there you have it. That's Brainy in a nutshell. It's a pretty radical departure from traditional career guidance, and it has the potential to be truly transformative.
It really does. It's exciting to see how technology can be used to address such a fundamental human need.
And for you listening, we hope this deep dive has given you a solid understanding of what Brainy is, how it works, and why it matters. It's certainly a lot to process, but it's worth taking the time to really think about the implications.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground, but hopefully it's been insightful and thought-provoking.
So here's a final thought to chew on. How might photorealistic AI mentors like Brainy change our relationship with technology in the years to come? What does it mean to have an AI that remembers everything you've ever told it, that can understand your emotions, that can guide you through major life decisions?
Those are some big questions. It definitely makes you think about the future of work, learning, and even human connection.
It does. And if you're hungry for more, the source mentions a white paper, the XX white paper, and you can also find more information on EON Reality's podcast and their EON XR spoken blog. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll catch you next time.